The Forrester family is on the edge of crisis once again, and this time, it's not about love triangles or corporate battles, it's about life and death. Rich Forrester, the strong-willed patriarch who has anchored Forrester Creations for decades, has collapsed at his desk. Taylor Hayes, his ex-wife and longtime confidant, walked in on the scene thinking he had merely succumbed to stress. After all, Ridge had carried the weight of the family business, personal conflicts, and emotional turmoil for years. But what came next would change everything. Doctors at the emergency room confirmed what no one expected. Ridge is battling leukemia. It's aggressive, and his body is deteriorating faster than anticipated. The only chance to save his life is a bone marrow transplant. Without it, Ridge's days are numbered. The news strikes Taylor like a bolt of lightning. After everything they've endured, the betrayals, reconciliations, heartbreaks, she never imagined watching the father of her children waste away in a hospital bed, powerless to help. Desperate, Taylor reaches out to their daughter, Steffi Forrester. But the tests reveal Steffi is not a viable donor. Emotionally shattered and physically drained from her own recent struggles, Steffi wants to be the one to save her father, but she simply can't. The weight of helplessness nearly breaks her. That's when the name they hadn't spoken in weeks resurfaces: Thomas. Thomas Forrester had left Los Angeles quietly. After a long history of manipulation, obsession, and redemption arcs, he needed space from hope. From the company, from the legacy he had nearly destroyed. His exit was met with relief by some and sadness by others, but few expected him to come back. And no one could have predicted the circumstances under which he would. Taylor makes the call. At first, Thomas is distant, wary, guarded. But when he hears that his father's life hangs in the balance, he doesn't hesitate. He boards the next flight back to Los Angeles, carrying not just the weight of the Forrester name, but the burden of redemption. Because for Thomas, this isn't just about saving Ridge. This is about proving once and for all that he can be more than the villain in other people's stories. Thomas's return is met with mixed reactions. Steffi hugs him fiercely, grateful beyond words. Brooke is cautious, suspicious of his motives. Hope doesn't know what to feel. But Ridge, weak, pale, but still every bit the proud Forrester, looks up at his son with gratitude. The tests confirm it. Thomas is a match. But it's not that simple. The procedure comes with risks. For Ridge, whose immune system is collapsing, any delay could be fatal. For Thomas, the donation carries its own health risks and complications. Yet he doesn't blink. He signs the papers. He prepares for surgery. And he does it not for applause, not to restore his image, but because this time, he's doing the right thing for the right reason. As the family braces for the operation, old wounds are reopened. Taylor sits beside Ridge's hospital bed, haunted by the image of him collapsing. She remembers the early days, the laughter, the love, the moments when they believed nothing could touch them. Now she watches machines keep him alive. She questions everything: how they got here, whether Ridge will survive, and if the man she's always loved will ever truly come back to her. Steffi tries to stay strong for her children, for her mother, for her brother. But her marriage to Finn is already strained. Luna's presence has become more intrusive than ever, and Steffi doesn't have the bandwidth to fight both a home-wrecking intruder and the possible loss of her father. She begins to crack, relying more and more on Hope, who ironically becomes her unlikely support system in the face of grief. Hope herself is torn. Liam is dying. Ridge might be dying. And now Thomas, the father of her son, is risking his own life to save another. Every person she's ever loved is in danger, fading before her eyes. The emotional toll begins to show. She distances herself from Carter, confused about her future and paralyzed by her present. In Thomas's decision to sacrifice for Ridge, she sees something raw, something real, and she wonders if she ever truly understood him. The day of the transplant arrives. The hospital is tense. Ridge is prepped and barely conscious. Thomas lies on the gurney, eyes closed, whispering something only the nurse hears. "Tell him I forgive him." It's unclear who he's forgiving, Ridge, himself, or maybe both. The surgery begins. Hours pass. Outside, the family waits, Taylor pacing, Steffi in silent prayer, Hope gripping the edge of her seat. Finn tries to offer support, but his attention is split. Luna has sent another cryptic message. Something about Sheila. Something about secrets. But right now, all that matters is whether Ridge lives. Then, finally, the doctor comes out. The procedure is complete. Thomas is stable. Ridge is in recovery, but it's too soon to know if the transplant will take. The family exhales, but the relief is temporary. The fight isn't over. The next few days will be critical. As Ridge regains consciousness, the first person he asks for is Thomas. He wants to thank him. He wants to say the words that decades of pride kept locked away. But Thomas is still in post-op, weak and groggy, having given not just his marrow, but a piece of himself that he can never get back. The act sends ripples through the entire Forrester clan. For the first time in a long time, no one is fighting over designs or models or magazine covers. They're fighting for family, for life. For healing. Ridge's illness has stripped away the layers of ego and power games, exposing what really matters. And in that vulnerability, bonds are reforged. Taylor and Brooke reach a fragile peace. They sit side by side in the waiting room, talking not as rivals, but as women who've loved the same man and suffered in different ways. Steffi and Hope, once torn apart by men and ambition, find themselves united by loss and resilience. And Thomas, for all his sins, his manipulations, his darkness, has done something pure. Something selfless. Something heroic. As Ridge's condition improves, questions begin to surface. What comes next? Will Ridge see this as a second chance to rebuild his life with Taylor? Will Thomas's sacrifice mend the rift between him and Hope? Can Steffi and Finn survive the looming storm that Luna and Sheila continue to stir in the background? What's certain is this: Thomas Forrester's return was more than just a shock to the system. It was a reckoning, a turning point. And as Ridge recovers, as the family finds its footing again, one truth echoes louder than the rest: nothing in Los Angeles will ever be the same again. Would you like this compiled as part of a multi-episode arc or structured into a serialized summary for publication? The emotional landscape of CBS is The Bold, and the beautiful continues to deepen as the characters navigate betrayal, mortality, love, and long-buried secrets. As the show currently stands, the stakes are higher than ever, and every move feels like it could shatter lives or rekindle long-lost connections. Liam Spencer finds himself confronting a heartbreaking fate. Diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, his days are numbered. The weight of this truth forces him into a reflective and selfless state, prompting him to reevaluate every relationship he holds dear. Rather than succumbing to despair, Liam chooses to prepare his loved ones for life without him. His primary concern becomes ensuring that Hope, his longtime love, and the mother of his daughter Beth will not be left alone or emotionally adrift after his passing. In a move both heartbreaking and noble, Liam encourages Hope to reignite her connection with Carter Walton. Carter, known for his unwavering loyalty and strong moral compass, represents stability and emotional strength. Liam's urging is not just a dying wish, but a final gift to push toward a future where Hope finds lasting happiness even in his absence. Initially, Steffi, a central figure in Liam's past and the mother of his other child, Kelly keeps Liam's condition secret, hoping to shield those around him from the looming tragedy. But the truth cannot remain hidden forever. When Steffi finally reveals Liam's diagnosis to Hope, the moment is devastating. Two women, historically at odds over the same man, are drawn together by grief and compassion. Their rivalry dissolves, even if temporarily, giving way to raw emotion and the shared sorrow of impending loss. As Liam's health declines, it becomes inevitable that he will have to say his final goodbyes. Most poignantly, the moment he shares with Kelly is bound to be unforgettable, a father trying to comfort his young daughter while silently accepting his fate. This looming loss may serve as the long-overdue catalyst for genuine reconciliation between Hope and Steffi. And as Hope inches closer to Carter, viewers are left to wonder if Liam's sacrifice will bear the fruit of love renewed. But while some bonds begin to heal, others unravel. Luna Nozawa re-enters the scene with motives as murky as ever. She has returned to Los Angeles not as a penitent soul, but as a manipulator set on reshaping her future by disrupting the lives of others. Her target, John Finnegan, Steffi's husband. Luna exploits Finn's inherent sense of duty, reminding him of emotional debts and personal responsibility in a veiled attempt to pull him closer. As Finn struggles to maintain his moral compass, his marriage to Steffi is stretched thin. Luna's actions, far from benign, drip with calculation. Under the surface, speculation grows that Luna may have been involved in the alleged poisoning of Bill Spencer. The once dominant tycoon has been exhibiting erratic behavior, and whispers suggest Luna's hand may have been the one to set that spiral in motion. Luna's manipulative tactics, if exposed, could result in explosive consequences. Not only would her reputation be irreparably damaged, but her relationships and any hope of redemption would be decimated. Yet Luna remains undeterred, weaving a tangled web that traps those closest to her in layers of deceit. Her presence becomes a growing threat to the Forrester family, particularly Steffi, who now finds herself under emotional siege from all angles. Adding to the chaos is Sheila Carter, infamous for her unrelenting schemes and dangerous obsessions. Still nursing the wounds of Finn's rejection, Sheila turns her focus toward a new plan, dismantling his marriage to Steffi. With surgical precision, Sheila seeks to exploit unresolved feelings that Hope might harbor for Finn. This isn't simply about love or jealousy, it's about power and revenge. Sheila knows that emotional vulnerability can be weaponized, and she intends to use Hope as the perfect pawn. Hope, still reeling from Liam's condition and the pressure of moving forward, becomes increasingly susceptible to Sheila's manipulation. The lines between comfort and confusion begin to blur, and Finn finds himself pulled into a potentially compromising emotional space. Steffi, already shaken by Luna's interference, may find herself stepping away from the spotlight, possibly due to travel, professional obligations, or emotional burnout. This absence could give Sheila the opening she needs to strike. In Steffi's absence, the emotional proximity between Finn and Hope could deepen, leading to passionate misunderstandings and explosive fallout. All the while, the central axis of Forrester family drama, the eternal triangle of Ridge Forrester, Brooke Logan, and Taylor Hayes, enters yet another volatile phase. Eric Forrester, patriarch and voice of tradition, pushes hard for a reunion between Ridge and Brooke. For Eric, this union represents not just romantic destiny, but familial unity. However, Taylor Hayes, ever grounded and intuitive, issues a stern warning to Brooke. Ridge's heart may not be as available as she hopes. Taylor's words are not just rooted in past disappointments, they come from a place of personal history. She shares a deep emotional bond with Ridge, one that defies surface-level affection. Ridge, caught between these two powerful women, wrestles with conflicting desires. On one hand, Brooke represents the love of his youth, the spark that never fully extinguished. On the other, Taylor offers a kind of emotional depth and stability that has often been lacking in his life. The pressure mounts as Ridge tries to honor his past, navigate his present, and choose a future that won't leave him or those he cares about shattered. As all these narratives collide, what emerges is a world where every choice comes with consequence, where emotions run dangerously high, and where the past is never truly gone. Liam's decline, Luna's ambition, Sheila's vendetta, and the Ridge-Brooke-Taylor dynamic form a combustible mixture that promises viewers heartbreak, betrayal, and, perhaps, redemption. In a show where every whisper has weight and every glance hides a secret, the bold and the beautiful surges forward, refusing to slow down. The path ahead is lined with uncertainty. Will Liam live long enough to see his daughter understand the depth of his love? Can hope find new purpose without guilt? Will Luna be exposed before she destroys a marriage? And can Sheila succeed in breaking the unbreakable? As Ridge stands on the edge of two great loves, the next chapter waits, heavy with tension and the possibility of irreversible change. The drama intensifies, and for those who dwell in this glittering, dangerous world, no one escapes in